So every time I see any type of series, like movie, book, anything where somebody develops something and then they kidnap their sibling to blackmail them into doing what they want, I get a strange appreciation over the fact that my brother only watches wrestling. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing Roswell, New Mexico Season 2, Episode 8, entitled Say It Ain't So. This was a really cool episode. They basically pick up where we left off in Episode 7, where Jenna is they learn that Jenna has been kidnapped by strange lights. Max has been trying to contact her this entire time. He's been leaving voicemails, trying to text her, and they did manage in the last episode to find her car that was abandoned, so they know something's wrong. So Max is basically determined to figure out what happened to his ex-partner / ex, I can't really say girlfriend, maybe sex buddy, pal, I don't know. I like their friendship. I think that Jenna's actress is very charismatic, so I like her a lot. I'm not really sure how to define her and Max's relationship. It's very interesting. So he's on a mission to find her. At the same time, he doesn't have all of his deputy sheriff credentials anymore because when he was away being, pseudo dead, Sheriff Valenti basically doesn't trust him enough because she's still under suspicion. She still has the suspicions that he killed Noah. And so she's very reluctant to basically give him his full status, back into the force. So she offers him a desk job position. So at the beginning of this episode, we see that Max has been working in the bar in Maria's restaurant, which I think is funny that everybody always ends up at the Wild Pony. It's but yeah, it's interesting. I guess that's probably flattering for Maria. But she has the hot spot of Roswell, New Mexico. But anyway, so he's bartending. And so him and Liz decide to go and investigate Cameron's car, see if they have any evidence. Maybe she left her phone behind, yada, yada, yada. So him and Liz go to investigate. Well, then they run into Charlie, who is Jenna's sister. And she is played by Jamie Clayton, who I love because I am a huge fan of Nomi Marks from Sense8. Sense8 is to date my favorite Netflix series ever. I love Sense8. I was so hurt when they canceled it, and I love Jamie Clayton as Nomi. But neither here nor there. Watch that show. But so I really loved her as Charlie. I think her name is supposed to be Charlotte Cameron, but she goes by Charlie. She's there to find her sister, and she pretends to be this agent named Grace something Powell or something like that, like an agent coming to investigate a crime scene. And Max kind of sees through that and is like, "Woman, you're in a rental car, really? You don't even have government plates." And so he calls her out really quickly. So then he realizes from the tattoo that that both of the sisters have, they each have half of a tattoo symbol, that is definitely Jenna's sister. So they, him, Liz, and Jenna him, Liz, and Charlie basically make a pact to try to work together. So she gives them the story about how she was on the run, and she thinks that there's this organization called Big Sky or Deep Sky, is basically one of the groups that's after her, and she thinks that's who took her sister to basically draw her out because she was working on a controversial project, which we kind of know is a way of using it's basically a weaponized bioweapon that can be programmed to distinguish humans from aliens, and it's pretty nasty. But they want this technology, and so she was hiding in prison. And now that she's out, she has to be on the run, which is why she's not with her sister. But she's only been drawn out because they kidnapped her. And I love the whole teamwork between her and Max. I thought they were pretty cool, pals. I hope she's going to be a reoccurring character because she definitely just kind of fit right into that whole, world that they've created for Roswell, New Mexico. I love how she questioned Liz's, ambition. She's like, "You're over here stirring, in the deep fryer with the French fries when, you wrote this amazing cellular paper, I think it's cellular programming paper, you got a boyfriend who just basically looks like he's smart enough to Netflix and chill." That was pretty bad, actually. But it did spur something in Liz, because Liz in this episode was packing up all of the equipment from the lab they were at the old Indian boarding school, that Alex had found for them to basically regenerate Max's heart at the beginning of the season. She's packing up all her equipment and giving up all her research. And, by the end of this episode, she starts working on something. She's actually, even though she promised Michael she wouldn't because it was dangerous and they could expose them, she's continuing studying the alien DNA to see how it would be beneficial to humans, because they don't get sick like, humans do. And they, there may be cures for diseases and things like that. So she's not giving up on that. And I don't know how I feel. I'm kind of like, I get it, but then it's like you're lying at the same time. So that's going to come back to bite her in the butt. But they do get Jenna back. There's a huge little, there's like a gunfight. They figure out where she is, and she's like in the trunk of this in this vehicle, and they're able to get her. The sister was shot, and Max kind of stops her from leaving town. And so I don't know what's going to progress from that. I don't know if she's going to be in the next episode or not, but I really hope she is. But yeah, so that's their storyline. And then we have Rosa, who is having a lot of trouble adapting, which of course, she's supposed to be dead, So, Isabel and, Liz are giving her a clothes they gave her options for clothing that she could try. And she puts on this really preppy outfit. And she goes to this cave that she used to hang out with where they do cave art. And there's some really, bitchy girls, the mean girls, basically, that kind of make her feel like crap. So she takes the pills that she took from her mother's car. And we think, so in one scope, it looks like she dumped them out. But in reality, she actually took them. So all the events of her storyline, for the most part, up to that cave, were all medically induced. They were all a dream because she's passed out from almost overdosing on these pills. And in this world, she sees what her life could be like had, number one, she not died, and number two, she didn't have the addictions that she has. She's into art. She would have friends. She would be social. She'd have a life that she desperately wants, because honestly, she doesn't want to be anything like her mother. And so what I did like about this was at the end of this episode, Rosa decides that enough is enough. She needs to go to rehab. And they make it possible because of Maria's storyline. So Maria basically is playing around with her powers, and it's hurting her. When she has visions, like her mother, they thought it was a neurological disease, but it's actually because they're using these alien abilities that I guess human brains aren't able to handle. It deteriorates and starts killing a little bit of the brain. But Maria is so I want to find out about my potential and I need to find out about me, that she's ignoring it. And Michael originally is freaking out in this episode because he doesn't want anything to happen, or he even says the idea of something happening to you, makes me feel like someone's jumping up and down on my chest. And we know that Michael has abandonment issues. So yeah, that is a big thing for him. And Maria is kind of no, I'm still going to do it. And they find out that the necklace that Maria's mother, gave her for graduation has the flower that basically they know that Noah had, that Liz threw at him in season 1, that basically inerts their power. Aliens can't use their powers with it. So honestly, as Maria says, it's her kryptonite. It prevents her from having these abilities and being able to use it. And the reason that her mother got so bad was because her mother used to wear that necklace and there was only one flower. And so she gave it to her daughter, and that's why her mind started deteriorating. And I thought that was extremely sweet and sad at the same time. And so Michael's trying to find more flowers. He's I have 2 DeLuca women with 1 necklace. But then Maria convinces Michael to let her practice and try and grow these abilities, even though it's at the risk of her health. And she didn't tell, Michael that when, she convinced Isabel to help her, because, Isabel's on her own quest to find herself, that she saw a vision of Isabel's mother, and that after that vision, her nose started bleeding. She did not tell Isabel or Michael that, so they don't know that it actually is already starting to hurt her. But she's so gung-ho into being that person that has those abilities and being special and feeling like she can help people that she's going to ignore it. I know she is. I know this is not going to end well. The reason I brought up her storyline after Rosa's is because the necklace that she had, she passes to Rosa. so Rosa can use it so she won't start blowing things up, whenever she's upset, and can go to rehab. Because that was the only reason that Rosa wasn't able to go, because she said, I wish I could go to rehab. Well, she's going. Her father's going to drive her there. She's going to check into rehab, and I'm really hoping she gets help, because I actually love the character. And I think, she's been the most affected in all of this, and I really, really want to see what she's like when she comes back. So, but yeah, so hopefully everything's good for Rosa. And like I said, with Isabel and Maria having that vision, they do see Louise, who we speculate is Max and Isabel's mother, talking to a young boy named Walt. Well, when Isabel goes and recounts this to Max, she mentions that the little boy that she thought was with her mother gave her a little windmill. And that triggers something in Michael, and he goes and grabs this tiny, rusty windmill off of this shelf at the auto place he works, the mechanic shop he works for his boss Sanders. And he asks Isabel, is this, the windmill? And she says yes. Turns out it's been his boss's the entire time, the one that used to let him sleep on the couch when he was younger, and his foster parents were beating him up, who's basically tried to look after Michael most of his life. That was the little boy that was with his mother Louise, and with his mother Nora, and Isabel and Max's mother Louise. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool. So we know now that Sanders knows a lot more about them, and probably knew that they were aliens the entire time. So I would love to know his connection, where he's been, because when we saw Trip, Alex's great uncle or whatever, they burned down the barn with Sanders in it. So we all assumed he was dead. The little boy died, but he's actually been Michael's boss this entire time. So that was a very cool twist. And the other things that happened besides Alex's father, Jesse Maines, acting like the stroke has made him a better human being, and he's given up on everything. He even says his son Flint, his other son, has been reassigned, so he's no longer hunting for aliens, and he's not following Trip and the family alien hunt crusade anymore. He's let go of all the hate. I don't know if he's full of crap or if that's actually true. I'm really hoping for Alex's sake that it is true, because he was a nasty human being. But he did help them by giving information on how to find Jenna when Max went to talk to him. So I don't know. Jury's still out. But Alex, because of all of the crap with his father, he's still in the closet. He can't come out of the closet. And Forrest is very pro Alex. He wants to go out with Alex. He wants to kiss Alex. He wants to be a couple in public, and Alex won't kiss him in public, and he won't hold hands, none of that. He keeps saying, let's go somewhere private. And he even says it's because every time I'm with a guy in public, I hear my dad in my head telling me it's wrong, to your uniform, to being a man, his father's so homophobic that homophobia has created a fear, and Alex can't get out of the closet, which is interesting. Which I also thought was interesting is that Forrest's character is from a family of rednecks. The guy, and his name goes out of my head, the one that hates Rosa for killing their sister, in his mind, that is his family. And so, Forrest was able to overcome that, and I'm pretty sure they're pretty nasty human beings. So, and again, everyone's different. Everybody comes out at their own time. I get it. I'm in the LGBT community. I understand it. It's just, I just found it interesting that was a storyline that they went with Alex in terms of comparison with Forrest, because Forrest's family was equally crappy or is equally crappy. So, but he was able to come out. But I mean, it is what it is. But I loved how accepting Forrest was of Alex not having his leg, because he didn't know. And, he just instantly was like, well, that's hot too. He is super into Alex, and Alex kind of, I don't want to say he blew it, but he's definitely, Forrest made a point of saying he doesn't want to live in somebody else's closet. And that is very understandable. And it's very realistic, and it's very sad for Alex, because Alex lost Michael. He had a threesome with Michael and his best friend Maria. So we have not seen all three of them together, or we haven't seen Alex with either of them since then, because it's really, really awkward. I'm really cringing on what's going to happen when they are together. And now with Forrest, he doesn't have that either, because he can't seem to, he tells Michael to get his stuff together, but he's not able to emotionally. He has PTSD, and he's still stuck in the closet. And I feel so sad, because Alex is one of my favorite characters. He's adorable. So yeah, this episode was cool. A lot happened. I don't know what's going to happen next week. I am excited. I do know from the preview, it looks like Kyle's Mother's on a warpath, so Sheriff Valenti is going to find out what happened to Noah one way or the other, and she's 100% certain that Max did it, which is sad because I think he said something like, I've worked here since I was 18. I've been a sheriff for you since I was 18 or whatever, deputy sheriff. And I mean, all that I guess is out the window. I don't know. She's so mistrusting of Max, and it didn't seem that way in last season. So it's a very big shift. But we will see where that goes and what happens with all of our characters going forward next week. Or actually, by the time I do this video, it'll probably be Monday because I'm a little behind. So hopefully I'll have the next video up in the next couple of days. But yeah, very, very, very good episode. But I would love to know what you guys think. So please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for Jury Duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.